unfortunately, this year has. It goes without saying, really, for anybody of Iranian background that's listening to this, that it has involved a lot of devastation and profound sadness and anger and frustration, but tears. If there's been a constant on our program, it's been people talking about how much they've cried over the last 6 months. If I may, what has been the most, or what was, let's say, the most heartbreaking moment of the past year for you? What affected you the most? I know we all have hundreds of these moments, but as a way of sort of respecting what has happened and some of the most difficult moments, let me ask this question. So, who would like to start?
I can.
Okay.
Well, I think the seeing the kids die, or the executions, both are saddest moments of my life. I think so, because.
Do you have a particular one that you remember the moment of?
No, any of the kids, I just can't see them. Every time that Kian was killed months ago, but I think days after that or weeks after that, I still was thinking of him. I couldn't watch the pictures and the executions too, because yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned Kian, because my most heartbreaking moment of this year, and as we say, there's been many, was actually related to Kian. It was
I think it was the same as mine.
Which is what?
His father going,
His father being in the hospital bed.
And then going to his gravesite.
Yes.
That
First
video.
not knowing that Kian has been killed, and then going to his, it's, just thinking about it is eerie. And the innocence of how Kian first of all dies, and then his father's visceral, watching his father's. Most of my most heartbreaking moments that I was thinking about usually involve one of the parents, like a mother or a father dealing with it's just gut wrenching watching that and identifying with it. But so that was yours.
That was mine. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That video, just the pain that you see in that video. I mean, don't get me wrong, hearing about Kian shattered me. I mean, to
10-year-old boy in the back of a car
in the crossfire, like the innocence, like you said, the loss of life, the brutality, the chaos,
loss of potential.
Yeah,
the loss of
all
potential.
Of that. Yeah. But I think seeing that video and seeing how far this pain stretches, and to think that it wasn't just that this poor boy was killed. It's the fact that this poor boy was killed. His father was hospitalized. He had no idea for months or weeks, I guess. I don't even know how long it was. And then to have to come to terms with that and to go to the gravesite of your 10-year-old child, like that video, I think was just heartbreaking.
Yeah. Parisa?
So for me, it's like, as everyone said, the first couple of weeks that we kept hearing, like, Sarina, Nika, Kian, Siavash, Mershad. It was really difficult. But on a personal level, my grandfather passed away. And it was really heartbreaking for me, because I thought, when I left Iran, I thought I would come back and meet them again, but he passed away. And
was he a big influence in your life?
Yes, we were really close, and it was really heartbreaking, and it was in the middle of the uprising, and sometimes, like, at that time, I was thinking that all these kids, lost their lives. My grandfather was 80, and I felt like I cannot say anything. I cannot talk about it because people are losing their children. But it was difficult.
Yeah. Anahita, you're already in tears. What are you thinking about?
I had couple. I cannot say bad moments, but at the same time that the young and kids were killing in Iran, I had different things in my personal life too. The night that Kian's mom was looking for ice for her kids, I couldn't sleep until morning.
We should explain that.
Yes.
Kian had died, and why was she looking for ice?
Yes.
It's a horrible story.
Because how I think that this regime don't give the murder of their kids to them just for برای اینکه خاکش کنن. How? And the parents should looking for ice to keep the murder in their home. And
That's right.
so I couldn't sleep that night, and I think I was thinking about if, for example, if it's my mom looking for ice for, or someone else, or this moment, it was I don't even know how it's possible. How, if I was a mom, how I could do that, you know? Yeah.
Interesting that it's about the kids for all of us. Although you make such a good point, Parisa, about the, we almost feel, this is one of the most traumatizing parts of what's happening in Iran, is that when things are so horrific, like horror movie horrific, schoolgirls being poisoned and kids being shot, you almost feel guilty for feeling bad about anything, right? You say, how can I feel bad about the fact that I'm trying to make ends meet, or that my knee hurts, or whatever it is, because, and obviously that's not a realistic, or it's a very difficult way to live. You can't carry the burden of people dying in Iran. It's not your fault, but it's something that we've so commonly felt and so commonly heard from our guests all year who've been on this program, especially in the last 6 months.